Michelle, I personally target Mondays and Tuesdays. I think those are best for you.
Sure.
But does anybody have a date they want to throw out?
7th or 8th, that first week of December, I'm at a conference out of state.
December?
Well, the November 30th through December 30th.
December 7th or 8th? How are
I
those?
guess I'm confused. Don't we want to wait until after the 5th?
January 5th is kind of when I'm doing my projections, et cetera. So that's when we should have our budget revisions, et cetera, done.
I guess it really boils down to if you want to talk more about the levy.
Do we wanna-
Before that.
And some preliminary talk about budget, like I said, enrollment projections, assumptions, basically, be ready to push those forward in December.
It's certainly possible to wait until January to have that conversation. It's just a question of whether, I mean, if you're considering any kind of a spring run at the levy or anything, you don't want to. And I don't know if the board's thinking of that at all or not, but you want to really be thinking about it ahead of time if that's going to be a consideration.
Steve?
Are there legally, are there different possibilities or restrictions on types of levies that can be run at different times of the year?
Yeah, you can do a mail-in ballot, so a mail-in ballot can be done next year. But as far as an actual election, it would have to be held, with the election
November.
November election day, whatever, that is the first Tuesday or.
Oh,
But
we
a
can't
mail-in
do
ballot,
both.
a mail-in ballot
Can't do
could be
both.
done at any time of the year?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all in one account.
So, mail-in ballot would be, yeah, I'd have to confer with legal, but I think right now, as we look at the statute, a mail-in ballot can be done anytime, and you can have one election.
Does it have to be 6 months?
after the last, so.
After the last?
Yeah,
I'm thinking what your statute was, right?
Right.
Is it 6 months?
Yep.
So May would be your first option.
and you could do, well, mail-in ballot you could do.
You could do a mail-in ballot in May.
Yeah, and one election per calendar year, as long as you're not statutory operating debt. So, which would be in November.
So
So it's
the
really-
focus was more for the levy portion, to have that conversation. Does this group want to consider a levy in 2016? Kind of have those initial conversations, and then how it would relate or not relate to the budget was the intent of having this meeting before January.
And it certainly could wait till January. It's just really a question of whether you want to have that conversation sooner than January.
I personally think it should be done in December. I think we need to show our public that we're having conversations about it, that it was important to us, especially in light of you just shared all those parents. I mean, just having a conversation isn't mean we're committing to anything, but I think we need to recognize. That's just my feeling. I'm seeing a lot of nods.
Yeah, I think as soon as Randy has the projections, I'm open for whatever night works for other people.
It would be preliminary if we do it in December. Steve?
I don't think the projections have anything to do with the discussion about the levy. We're going to have a difficult time next year, no matter what the projections are.
Absolutely.
We're either going to risk it SOD, or we're going to do some cuts again. I think that the sooner we can discuss what our intent might be with the levy, the less time we will have to spend with that discussion in January. And the January discussion after the projections might put numbers on the levy.
Yeah.
But the idea of whether or not we're committed to go through this again, and the pros and cons on how we might do it. One of the advantages to a discussion in December is that we might be able to reach out to other people that have had experience with mail ballots and see what that experience. I mean, there's a lot about this we don't know.
That's right.
But I think that, I don't think we need to wait for preliminary projections to know that we've got to find some more revenue.
So what dates are we looking at?
Well, proposal's been the 7th or 8th, which is a Monday or Tuesday, the first full week in December.
Except that,
So that's the week that works for me.
oh, that's the week that does work for you.
Tuesday is better for me than Monday.
Okay, the 8th.
The 8th works for me, works for me.
Your other option is to take that 15th, the date that you have, and take your reflection session and turn it into a work study session and start it earlier. It's just a question of how much time you want.
I would.
And then do you still want to keep the reflection session in addition?